I'm one of the few people, fortunately, who can get a project like this popping without going to the dominant society, without kissing their ass, and I want us to get into the habit of getting stuff done without having to suck up to them, because we have enough numbers. We don't need middlemen. They have to go through us anyway, because they look at black people as the progenitors of culture.
Like the real reason that Africans, Caribbeans, and everyone from the diaspora is so bothered by black Americans is because we do not let the African part of our lineage overshadow the American part, right? So when African Americans are creating all of this new culture, and we're being the face of culture and creation and innovation all across the world, we are not giving that credit to our African heritage. And I think that is where all of the discomfort comes from. You need us to say how African we are so that you can take credit for our greatness.
I really do agree with at least with some people, that they want, FBAs to claim the African heritage. And most FBAs would tell you that we are people of African descent. Yes, we know where our ancestors come from, the continent, we know. But the only thing the FBAs are saying is that we've been here 400 plus years. I mean, come on. We've been here. We built America. We had to go through a whole, we built America. We built America. We built America.
Good morning, America. So we are now on day 16, 1/6 of no power in Gary, Indiana.
We built America. We built America.
We know why they not coming out here, though. I mean, it's obvious, It's obvious. Gary is full of, us, diversity. Yeah. Not really diversity, but it's full of black people. Yeah. We the blackest city out here. So they don't want to check on us.
Yeah. They're NIPSCO. Everybody pays them. We don't pay, we get cut off. But when disaster happens, they want to charge us X amount of dollars, but we already paying into this. They got billions, trillions of dollars. We working day to day on paychecks. So yes, they could have did better. They got the money. We don't got the money. They say they supposed to maintenance that yearly. They haven't been out here in a year or two, maybe 3 years. I can't sleep at night because I can't plug my sleep apnea machine up. I can't afford a generator. I'm working on a month salary. So therefore, we need them to either give us generators or get this power up and running.
We built America.
We need them to either give us generators or get this power up and running.
We built America. We built America.
Somebody's saying, yeah, that money can go to something. I was going to do a story on Gary, Indiana, but I'm just not going to do it because it's just so sad looking at what is going on in Gary, Indiana, right? Which was once this vibrant middle-class town. Just they've been without power for 2 weeks. And you will not hear these guys even talk about it, man. They're not even talking about it. But it is sad, right? That, we make all this commentary about built talent and black empowerment only to neglect our own cities when they're down and be traveling all over the place and act as if everything is kosher back home. And it's not. It's sad, man. Gary, the shit that I'm seeing out of Gary, Indiana is some sad, sorry shit.
A few moments later.
Why are you even making this about FBA debates? That's all I'm saying. I've let off the FBA content. This is a problem I have with black folks. I have deliberately not talked about black content in almost a month, close to that. I don't do it on live streams. I've done that deliberately because I have some black guys that I like. So sometimes I feel like I don't have to really hit hard like that. So I've kind of made it about individuals. Like I pick out specific people to make my videos about instead of, saying some things that might come across as disrespectful to the larger black community. But you got folks that come in these comment sections that keep asking for it. Don't go and cry and say, oh, we got to find this Nana. I saw somebody in Slice Chat saying that, oh, Nana's been hiding. Nana is not hiding. I live in Prosper, Texas. Name the location. As long as it's in Prosper and it's not in the hood, I will show up. But you got to be reminded that I live in an open carry state and I have a no trespassing sign in front of my house. So, and remember Carmelo Anthony, right? You guys know Carmelo Anthony? That is the same court that your shit is going to go to. My area is not pro-black. It doesn't favor black people here. So you got to come out here and get hurt for no damn reason. I don't know you. And all these guys that are saying this shit are typing away. Why don't you make a YouTube video, put your face up? If you're a tough dude, put your face up so we know who you are. Why am I hiding from imaginary people? I don't know you. If you don't like my shit, don't watch my shit. But if you're gonna watch my stuff, just watch it and be sure about it. I don't know you. Nobody's looking for me. I'm not hiding. I'm not ducking anybody. I live my normal life. I go about my normal activities. With the whites. I live with the whites and the Asians, okay? Y'all are not here. So I live, and I don't do videos hiding my face. My camera, I turn on my camera when I make my videos. That means that I'm putting a face behind every word that I say. So if you are this dude that is triggered that you're looking for Nana, make videos saying that you're looking for Nana. Don't be hiding on the keyboard. Oh, we're looking for you. Shut the fuck up. The dudes that are tough, they are gangbanging in the hood. You know, those gangbangers are in the hood doing real crime. Not these internet keyboard warriors that are talking. So what? How come these Africans are not trying to hurt Tariq Nasheed? Nobody is. Because we don't take him seriously. We don't care. We're not emotional bitches, right? So eat it up, man. You should be happy that I haven't even been doing this FBA stuff because I want to keep it respectful. But if you want it, I'll give it to you. You guys know how I do shit. If you want it, I'm going to give it to you. Because there's always a whole lot where this came from, man. You know, Nana got the blacks squeezed. You know, the blacks are my babies. You know what I'm saying? The blacks are my babies, right? Nana is their daddy. The blacks are my babies. So don't make this about, don't go off topic. Let's stick to topic because like I said, I've come to like a few black folks, so I want to keep it respectful. I want to kind of just make it about the issues. But if you don't want it to be about the issues and you want that recklessness, I'm going to give you the recklessness, right? And if you have anything to say, just turn on your camera and make a whole damn video, right? You know, like the big boss, right? The big boss has something to say. He makes a video and he says it. I respect that. Not some keyboard warrior just hiding all over the fucking damn place, man. I don't worship shit. I compete with everybody. I'm not a race-conscious person. I don't have any inferiority complex. I compete with the highest. At work, in life, all across the board. Nobody's giving me stuff. White folks are not giving me anything. I have a house probably bigger than most white folks on my streets. So what is worship? When I'm out competing them, right here on the street, I'm out competing them with size and price. Right? With size and price, right here, I'm out competing them. I kind of make it about issues now. I keep it honest. I keep it about the issues. I don't go off, you know, targeting black folks. I'm trying to make it very respectful. But there's a few of you in the comments that always want some of this. You want the spicy Nana, and I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice, man. Okay, so let's make it about the issues, man. Let's make it about the issues. I'm an American citizen. Where am I going? If the white man tells me to go, I will go. How about that? Right? The white folks invited me. I'll be honest. You know, I said these things honestly. I was invited to America by a white man called Mike Planthort. German name. There was no black in my chain of coming to America. It's got nothing to do with I don't live amongst black people. And I say that honestly, not disrespectfully, but honestly, I don't. Okay, so if this was a black-run nation, I won't be here. I'm keeping it in the back, bro. But like I said, if white folks came up with a new visa that says, hey, Mr. Nana, it's time to go home, I'll take their word for it. Why will I take your words for it? You got no power. You know, you got no power. Like, what power do you have? Just sitting on the internet, just go home. You know, I'm here to replace your prison population. I'm doing a whole lot better than almost 99% of your population. So it's a good replacement. Enjoy the additions that I give to black statistics. I do a whole lot of good for black statistics. Enjoy that. Don't be butthead about it, all right? But let's not make this about that. I'm trying to be nice, man. Like I said, there's a few black folks that I like. So I like to, you know how I say, I'm very selective with my blacks, right? So I have my core black guys that I like, and I don't like to offend them like that. I don't want them tuning in every day, seeing me just go to war like that. That's not pretty. That's not pretty, you know? But how about Gary, Indiana? How about Gary, Indiana, man? You know, we built America, but we can't give Gary some electricity for 2 weeks. Really, guys? Really, guys? Really, guys? We can't give. What's up to you, Prince? We can't give. It doesn't matter if we're the poorest on earth. But even in Africa, we don't have two-week outages. That's the saddest part of it. That even in third world Ghana, we don't have 2-week outages. It's 2 weeks and counting. There's no power in Gary, Indiana. You know, and I was looking up some stuff. Since you guys want to go there, man, I got work to do, but let's go there. Let's go there. I don't want to talk about these issues. I was trying to start pivoting into more important things. You know, I don't want these things to be like that, man. It's like beating down people that look like you. That's just how it looks like. So I was trying to use my voice for something more positive, you know. So you notice in the last few weeks, I've only been talking about specific people and specific events, like maybe an Austin Holloman doing some shit, or the Big Boss, which the Big Boss is just entertainment. We do it for fun, bro. We do the Big Boss for fun. Right? We do it for fun. But if you start to push us into these topics, it's sad, man. Look at this, right? The median household income in Gary, Indiana, in 2024 dollars is $38,731. That's for a household. Let that sink in. A household, husband and wife, if there is, but there isn't in those communities, right? $38,000 is the median household income in Gary, Indiana. The per capita income, so per individual, over the last 12 months is $23,453. 33% poverty rate in that same Gary, Indiana. You know what it costs the median home prices over there? $94,000. It's not investable. I was looking at an article from the University of Chicago because I was trying to prepare a separate video for this, right? I have it open on my work laptop right here. This is a research paper because I wanted to understand fundamentally what was wrong with Gary. And the article is titled, you can look it up, The Politics of Disinvestment and Development in Gary, Indiana. And one of the saddest part of the article, and they keep it in the back, these are liberal professors, so they keep it in the back. One of the things they actually talked about was that Gary started taking a shit when black folks came out there. So it wasn't that bad. And then there was white flight, okay, which is a remnant of Gary's situation today. Okay? No, this is why I say you guys don't understand economics. The cost to rent a house in my home country is somewhere around $150 a month. So the GDP per capita, even if the GDP per capita in Ghana is about $3,500, that $3,500 is above the poverty guidelines of Ghana. It's specific to that country. The money only makes comparative sense if you're going to bring it to live in America. The living expenses are different. Food prices are different. If you need on average, $300 a month to feed yourself over here. Most people there are subsistence farmers if they don't live in major cities. They need $100 a month to feed themselves, a whole family. Ask your people that have fled to go live in developing countries. It's called standard of living. You got to get an education, folks. You got to get an education. You can use the Switzerland example. You take your median income right now to Switzerland, they're going to laugh at you. You can't even afford housing over there. You take that to Norway or Sweden, even worse. In America, you got to account for health costs with this. So all these people will have to depend on the system for health insurance. You're looking at the bottom line numbers. Oh, I make $23,000 a year, so I'm better than people that make $10,000 a year in Kenya. No, you're not. The people that make $10,000 a year in Kenya are living a much better life than you are doing. Their housing costs are cheaper. Their utility costs are cheaper. My water bill here in Prosper is $200 a month. It's $0 in Lusaka. Zero. I pay $200 a month over here for water. Just water to drink and bath. Not even to drink it, just to bath. then I have to go to the supermarket and buy water to drink. Well, over there in Ghana and in Zambia, it's free. Even if you use the state utility, it's not $100. It's about like $10. It's not dollar for dollar. That's why they have poverty guidelines set per country. Go to the World Bank website. It's going to tell you. You are in the world's #1 economy, and you're still poor. That's actually a harder thing. You should not be poor. I don't understand poverty in America. I've never understood it. I think poor people are stupid. That's just I don't care. Clip it. I strongly believe poor people in America are stupid. Unless you have a mental illness and you're not able-bodied. But if you're able-bodied and you're poor in America, you're stupid. I swear to God. Anybody that is poor in this country is a fool. Period. That's just what it is, man. If you're a poor person in America, you don't make up to at least $40,000 a year, you're a fool. You're just stupid. I don't know what to tell you. There should be no reason why you can't crack 40 grand in America a year. A whole year, 12 months, you should be able to crack 40 grand easily. Even if you drive Uber, you will crack 40,000. So it's a matter of will. If you are willing, you will crack 40,000 driving Uber. You will crack 40,000 doing DoorDash. So the options are available. Even if you don't have the education, you don't have the elitism and all these other extras that you're supposed to do to build yourself. As an able-bodied man, 30 years and over, you should not be poor in America. So don't even feel good comparing yourself to developing countries. You have a first world, a second world, and a third world. You really want to compare yourself to a third world? That's what you're doing? I feel bad for you if that's what you're doing. Then that makes sense why these countries need immigrants, because they're going to need our brains if this is how your brains work. I feel bad for you. I can't help you, man. If that's how your brains work, I can't help you. But yeah, you can't be making $23,000 a year in this town. Even despite the home ownership, $94,000 is the median home value over there, which means it's not investable for real estate. So generations of the people that live there will never have any equity in their homes. And then on top of that, it's got horrible leadership, just black leadership on display, man. And this is why you have this situation. They're waiting for the white man to put the power on.
Gary, Indiana, and various parts of northern Indiana experienced some severe power outages after a storm in August of 2026. Well, a lot of about 375,000 people affected by the storm and the power outage. And a lot of places, a lot of people within that city went not only days, but almost a couple weeks without having any type of energy. Now, this, of course, affected a lot of the older residents who relied on the electricity. I mean, everybody relied on electricity for basic.
Yeah, they're starting to blame the governor and the state administration. I was like, well, where is your, why is Tariq not over there giving some food supplies? I've seen a few rappers. There's a few Houston rappers that have gone out there doing some work for them. So I'll give it to them. There's a few of them that are actually putting their money where their mouth is. But a lot of these idiots, the 60,000 people that are on ISM radio every night, where is your contribution to help your own people? This is not a third world. You have options. State funds, state budgets, city funds, taxes, all kinds of stuff, assistance that white folks give you. Who is a white worshiper here? At least I'm competing with these folks. I'm not asking them to give me anything.
I've been out on power since Tuesday of last week, and I'm still sitting in the dark. I got my grandmother with me.
Why are you still sitting in the dark? You can't go buy a generator? You know what I'm saying? You got to solve your own problems, right? This is the mindset. You're waiting for somebody to do it for you. Yet you built America. So when are we going to build something for the next generation of Americans where they can also say, because at that time we will be the ancestors, right? So they can also look back and say, oh, our ancestors restored Gary. Why have they not restored Gary Flinch? Restore at least one black city. Then I'll give you guys the credit and the respect you deserve, right? Let's put that to test. Say, oh, this Nana guy says we didn't build shit. So let's form a YouTube and a Facebook group to put together money, engineers, scientists, architects, and restore one iconic black city. Just restore one where it's going to be safe, vibrant. Kids can go outside and play on a playground and laugh and shake hands, where there will be almost no homicides, where people are going to be friendly towards each other, where there's going to be a sense of community, where the education is going to be good, that people can go to school and graduate, high graduation numbers, that they can go off to college and return to that city, build businesses, and have a vibrant economy going. The blueprint is there, but it cannot be done, okay? It cannot even be done for suburbs, let alone taking a whole city to restore. All these cities where there was white flight, like Gary, they've pretty much become war zones. And all it takes is, it's like they're waiting for a disaster to hit. Then it exposes them. I was reading this article. I didn't really get into it, but there was a portion I wish I highlighted it because it's a research paper. So I was reading this about Gary, and it sucks that I didn't highlight that particular spot where it was talking about, it says Gary. So this is 2001. Gotham wrote, Gary became reserved for the homeless, the poor, minorities, and the urban underclass. These are all undertones for saying it was reserved for animals. They just don't want to say that. They just want to be nice, right? It was reserved for animals, where people just would never have opportunity to prosper. And that's because they can't build anything, right? And if you go down to, I saw a line that was very important. I wish I can find it. I should have highlighted this. It's a long ass article that talks about how Gary came to be what it was. Because soon as the white capital left, white flight, and the steel companies, lost money and decided to restructure, all these guys that lost their jobs just stayed there. It just became an urbanized ghetto. I think that's the word they use in the article. I just can't seem to find that particular phrase. And that's what it's become to this very day. There's nothing going on there. There's no opportunity. Similar to Flint, Michigan. All it took was some water systems to go kaput to expose what is today's black leadership. So you can look at the Africans and mock them all you want, and all this shit that you guys say. At least they're in a development phase. These were developed cities that were given to y'all and they were destroyed. Okay? Gary was really a developed city. It was named after a guy, I think, called Henry Gary or whatever his name was. This is the abstract. For the last half century, the city of Gary, Indiana has been devastated by continued disinvestment. Nobody's interested in investing there. So why is black capital not going into those places? These people are just mad people, man. They are madmen. Like madmen, mad in terms of silly in the head. They know themselves. Right? I live in America. These people know themselves. They know what they're capable of and what they're not. They are very loud on the internet. They seem to have a lot of achievements when you speak to them online. But if you look at this more abstractly, they cannot convey anything to work. And that's the problem. Yeah, nobody wants to invest there because it's full of black people. It's full of your folks. Right? Why don't you go invest there? There's 51 billion of you. Why don't you go put your money there? That's where your folks are. These are iconic black cities. So why are you leaving your people to be impoverished? This would have been the best example of segregation, right? Because you guys are mad about white folks and white integration and Carmelo Anthony and all this bullshit. So this would be a rare opportunity to police yourself, to govern yourself, to build yourself. But you cannot do that. You cannot do that. Like I said, Gary overlooks the Lake Michigan. So you can invest in some fisheries over there. The city center is built. White folks left it built. A few dilapidated buildings that you can restore. Why are you not coming together as a people and saying, you know what? Maybe Gary might be the homeland, right? Because you FBAs talk about homeland. Gary can be the epicenter of the homeland. Because as I look around, there is no one that is the epicenter of the homeland. Right? So you can make Gary the epicenter of the homeland. and fix the economic inequalities, rebuild the society, make it safe, resolve the crime, solve the electricity. At least that's so before we even start, just send some engineers there to restore the power. It's been 2 weeks. Okay, it's been 2 weeks, fellas. It's been 2 weeks. Go ahead and fix it. Don't wait for the white man to do it. Or if you're gonna wait for the white man to do it, then don't cry that some of us have no issues with white folks because they are the only ones that can fix it, right? Go ahead and fix it, buddy.
So we have to go out, get our phone charged, get food. We have to throw away the food, trees in the lawn.
Communities of color are left behind and always feel like they're the last to get turned on or the last to get rescued in these situations.
That's their mayor, blaming the utility company that they are not turning it on because they are black. States have to always proportion resources. If the tax base coming out of Gary is very little, it's going to get very little support. So maybe you should increase the tax base. You should take over your own utilities. You should provide your own electricity. You built America, right? And you built an electric substation. Why can't you do that now? What happened to that built talent? Where did it go? Nobody has still answered that question. I've been asking this question for 12 months. Nobody has answered it. Because they know they were not capable. They use slavery to mean build America. But they forget that slavery is just one sector of the American economy, agriculture. What about industry? Which is actually noted in all history books that was the primary separator between the US and the rest of the world. They never answer that question because they know. Everybody knows what their capabilities are. Like me, I know what my capabilities are. I know what the things I can do and the things I cannot do. And I'm very upfront about it. So the things I cannot do, I have two options: to shut up or to learn. Okay? Now these dudes, they don't want to shut up because they want to talk and feel good about themselves and they don't want to learn. So that's why there's a problem. So a lot of these kids tend to take the easy way out. And what is the easy way out? Burglaries, crimes. And that's where we end up today. 2 weeks in the dark. Nobody's even gone out there to Costco to buy a generator. Oh, wait, there's no Costco there in Gary. They looted the shit out of it. These people don't like the truth, but this is the truth, man.
It's not okay for us to continually be in survival mode. We need to have a light at the end of the tunnel.
It's been pretty rough.
Yeah. So imagine living in a first world country using words, such depressing words. The Africans are not using that. The guy that was talking about their income issues. They're not. Even when they have power outages, which they call load shedding, their load shedding typically lasts a few hours in a day, maximum 2 or 3 days, depending on the country, right? But in my Ghana, it's usually a few hours of the day, right? It's not 2 weeks. Come on. And most people have started. What are the Africans doing? Solar. Most of them have started taking this initiative into their own hands. They're not waiting for the government to fix it. These guys can't even step out to go buy themselves a generator as a backup. Or at least a couple solar panels to be able to charge their phones. They're not thinking. That's what I'm saying. These people don't think at scale, man. They just live through the day, which is very normal and very typical of humans. We live comfortably throughout the day. When there's a little bit of discomfort, then we start to blame other people for our problems instead of looking in and say, hey, guys, we got to do something. You have to do something. It's not systemic. You have to do something. This happened because there was a power outage. But out from your city, your tax base is pretty low. There's not enough capacity for the state to keep spending money on your issues. When are you going to build your own stuff? When are you going to build your own businesses? You have to do these things. If you really want to have these conversations, you have to do it, man. You got to do it. You can't be calling these. This is a talk about. That's why I don't respect these conversations they have and these panels and this bullshit they talk about. Because every time the goodness about America is, the news will expose you. These things will come out. And you can't say this is a lie. This is not propaganda. These are their own words. They just don't know that we are watching.
More than a week and a half after devastating storms swept through Indiana, killing at least 7 people, thousands are still without power. Utility crews working around the clock, but the thousands of lingering outages remain concentrated in the...
Look at the map, right? So that's Gary. Right across the lake is Chicago. If this was given to the white man, you know how many beach resorts would be on that lake? That's the difference between a black thought and a white thought. In Black America, they are very quick and very easy to to always make it look like all these things have come from systemic issues. There's a lack of planning in the way they think. Look at the geography. Look at where this city sits. Even when steel failed, there's still other ways to industrialize that place to make it more comfortable and to be able to attract some investments. It's not like it's some wasteland in the middle of Kansas. This city is sitting right there by Lake Michigan on the south shore of it, connecting to Chicago, right out across the Chicago south side, which is not any good either. I mean, between these two people and their cousins in Chicago, they've destroyed the whole south shoreline. They've turned it into a massive slum, a ghetto. Very dangerous, very unpredictable, no opportunity. And if they can't turn this around, which is, a few places, right? It's a small city. Where is the hope for Black? I think the best approach is to ignore this whole racism bullshit and start thinking in the lens of America. Start seeing yourself as American and start including yourself in an all-inclusive mindset so that you can build with other Americans. But this way of moving, it's only good for the internet, man. Every day we go to sleep and we wake up. People are leaving you all behind, man. And it's sad. It sucks.
The northwestern part of the state. And ground zero of the outages is centered in Michael Jackson's hometown of Gary, Indiana. Utility company NIPSCO says some 40,000 in the region could remain in the dark until sometime next week. News Nation correspondent Alex Capriello is live for us there in Gary. So, Alex, what is the situation there?
Yeah, Nicole, it's been 10 days since this storm hit Gary, Indiana, and scenes just like this one are playing out all across the city. You see these downed trees and the downed power lines that still need to be cleaned up. The result is tens of thousands of people that live here in this city still without power.
I mean, just at all of the years of my life, I've never seen this much devastation, this much damage.
New numbers from the Northern Indiana Public Service Company, also known as NIPSCO, show around 43,000 customers are still without power. 16,000 of those are in Gary, including Gary Mayor Eddie Melton. Melton has repeatedly voiced his frustrations with NIPSCO, saying the utility company needs to do more to restore power to his city. His administration...
Yeah, so what is the utility company? White man. The white man needs to do more to restore it. How about some Black engineers on standby that can speed up the process? Even blue-collar talent. The angst, the Black folks that are 50 years and older, that's why I kind of relate more to those guys. They had some skills. They were handymen. They had some skills. They can get things together. They could fix certain things, right? They had pride in going to work and working for themselves. These folks are not prideful. They don't want to go to work. They don't want to work for themselves. They don't want to do anything. They just want the government to fix it. Just do it for me, man. Just do it for me. That's the same attitude they've brought to Africa. They just want the Africans to give them stuff. Oh, you guys brought us here. You invited us here. Nobody invited you over there, man. If you can't stay, leave. It is what it is. These FBA guys on TikTok, they've been sweeping this under the rug. They're like, let's hope the terrorists don't see it. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. They're waiting for Massa to fix the electricity for them for 2 weeks. Instead of going to Costco to buy some generators, help clean out the waste, put the men to work so they can clean up faster, help out with the restoration, employ some journeyman. Where are the Black blue-collar utility workers? If there was a lot of Black people in that utility company, they would have lobbied and advocated for their place to be first. But no, if you look at the workers, This is all white folks in a predominantly Black city. That crane you're seeing, the crane operator and the other two guys there, they're white people. The Black folks are not working, man. Nana is not your enemy. I'm telling you the truth. They're not working. When I step outside, I just see Latinos, man. They're over here waiting for reparations.
We want tangibles as foundational Black Americans. And we're not going to let them redefine what reparations mean, right? Is reparations student loan debt? No. Is reparations HBCU funding? No. Is reparations minority business loans? No. Is reparations catfish nuggets? No. What's reparations? Money! What's reparations? Money! What's reparations? Money! Give yourselves a round of applause.
When you don't have no power, you're not working. Fellas, you got to get out there and work. That's the time America is on now, man. Instead of crying, oh, these immigrants taking benefits, oh, these status. The status up, man. Status are winning. Get out there, get your butt off that couch and go get some work done, man. It's a new world. White folks are not taking those complaints anymore. You've outplayed it, right? Y'all have outplayed the race card, and it's no longer working in your favor. A whole mayor out there complaining, oh, we're waiting for them to come and fix it for us. Get your ass up there and start cleaning up the road, man. What do you mean you're waiting for them to come fix it? What are systemic issues got to do with this? You're a predominantly black city. Where are your black utility workers? Where is your representation in the state utility company? Your boys are flying all over the world with donations. They give their little peanuts to other people to show them sex. Their brain is fully dopamized to where when it comes to doing things that are very, very important to living, they don't want to do it. These things are not very important to them, and that's a problem. Now, that's not your enemy. You just don't like that I'm blunt and I speak the truth. What I'm saying is not even disrespectful. I'm saying this this is the most nicest I've been. Okay, this has been I've gone on a run of being very, very nice. This is the nicest that I've been. I want to keep it about the issues, but I also want to call out the bullshit. And this is one of those bullshits. Your folks should be out there cleaning up the street instead of lining up for food. Every footage that I've seen in Gary, Indiana, is black folks lining up for food and eating and eating and eating. Oh, we got no power, we're eating. Where is the black engineering to fix the power? You got to be out there. It's your city. Take charge, take control. But I lost hope when I heard the mayor saying, we're waiting. What are you waiting for? Don't you have enough men there? Look at these people, right? The guys you're seeing, are they not white people? They're waiting for the white man to come clear the road for them. So the city doesn't have their own trucks to clean this up. You can leave the utility and the power lines out there for the people to do, right? I understand that part because you have to be trained. So you can leave the city, the power outage, the power lines, you can leave that for the professionals. But where there's no contact with power lines and trees, you can clean up those trees with silly and utility trucks. And you can employ some of your men in the city to help speed that up because all those are obstacles to restoration. So by the time the NIPSCO guys show up, the roads will be clear, the streets will be clear, only the power lines will be sitting out there, very, very few trees to clear because those trees may have entangled with the power lines. And that will speed up the process. See, man has to do this. There is no machinery that restores the power. Men have to come out there. We have a bit of crane in here and there, but it involves manpower. Men have to actually be on the ground working. Where is the working black man? That's the question that I'm asking. In a predominantly black city, this city is a whole black city, not even predominantly black city. It's a whole black city. I should see in the news bulletin, black men out there picking up stuff. No, I just see them eating donated food.
Has now requested additional utility crews and linemen to help speed up recovery efforts.
Look at that white man. Lineman is a white man. Stop that bullshit of we built America. I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't want to hear it anymore. My children, my black children, I'm telling y'all today, Daddy is saying this today. I don't want you guys to ever say that you built America again. Stop that stuff. We end that conversation today. We end that conversation because either way it doesn't look good. Even if you did, why have you stopped building? Despite all the technological advancement, despite all the things that are going on, I expect a little bit more. That's all that I'm saying. Now y'all need to stop this shit. Let's focus, man. You got some work to do. You really do. You got some work to do. The black immigrant is definitely never your problem. I know this is a grift. A lot of them are doing it just to make money. But the amount of energy and watch hours that you've invested in this, it can be a college class, it can be a programming class, it can be, I know we all have to entertain ourselves from time to time, but there's a lot of learning that can be shared between the two communities. You know, if you really, really think bigger, at a bigger scale, there's a lot of things that can be shared between the two communities. Everybody has what we call a comparative advantage. The Africans have some advantages in something, the Black Americans have some advantages in some things, right? These platforms can be used to share knowledge. But what are we doing? We're deciding who is better and who is not, right? And then when real crisis hit, we get exposed. Yes, the Africans, we get exposed too. But at least we live in a third world country. Our expectations are not that high, right? So we make a little bit of progress from time to time. That's good enough. But you can't say that for the black immigrant, though. Because we meet a lot of our expectations here. We do, for the most part. A majority of us meet and exceed our expectations here. That's why the only time you can make arguments is when you take it back to our homelands and not what we're doing here. You know, I'm looking at this Gary, Indiana income numbers, and me single-handedly, I haven't even added my wife to this shit. Me single-handedly beat that number monthly without even trying. It's that easy. But people have to live on that the whole year, and part of that money can even be benefits. And that means with that kind of income, you have no retirement. You have no 401k plans. You have no RSUs from the corporation. Your healthcare is probably the cheapest and the bullshit. So it is sad whichever way you look at it. And if a big round black city is not able to get it together, then that if you scale it out, black people just don't have a chance, man. They can never, there's never going to be a city in America that is predominantly black that is going to be well run. I showed you guys Jackson, Mississippi the other day. Birmingham, Alabama, worse, right? You live there, you go within these same cities, you see where the white folks live, you see where the black folks live. It tells you something. And this is not a one scenario. This repeats itself in every state that I've been to. Every state, in every major city of America. You carve out the inner cities, you come out into the suburbs, it's night and day. The income disparities show, the education disparities show, and they do show online as well because a lot of them are on the internet. So now they come into us, I'm like, they are struggling to understand me. And they think I'm stupid. I'm like, no, you are stupid. Your education failed you. You are stupid. You just don't know you're stupid. You may have to listen a little bit longer to undo the bullshit that was taught to you.
Just imagine someone with medical conditions, individuals that haven't been able to talk to family members around the country, reaching out, wondering how they're doing. So this is frightening for a lot of folks.
And many Gary residents are taking their frustrations straight.
No, not the big Shaniqua. Look at them, man. This is some third world shit, man. Look at them. Look at it. This is America, folks. These are our people. It's sad. These are our own people. There's no way you're going to say, why are you comparing yourself to the poor African? That's what I'm trying to say. Why are you comparing yourself to the poor African? They're a third world country. They are developing countries. If you're living in the world's #1 economy, Africa should never be compared to anything you do. Like you got, at least go to second world compared to Colombia or somewhere. Go to second world. You go all the way down to Africa. That is an admission that you can't survive the American capitalist system. You're not going to do well. What about comparing to the black immigrant? The African that has moved to America. That's a fair comparison. You're both here. That's a fair comparison. You're both here on the same land, same dollar, same metrics. Why not do that comparison? You don't do that because you know it's not even close. This is why the argument becomes those guys are trying, they're fighting it out over there. They're doing it by themselves. But I'm just saying, like I said earlier on the broadcast, in 2026, 30 years and over, a black man, if you're not making the median income, you're stupid, period. You don't need to compare yourself to anything else. You got to worry about yourself. You should know poor people are dumb. I believe that. I don't give a fuck. I said it. Poor people are dumb in America. You're poor, you're dumb. In 2026, in America, if you're poor, you're dumb, period. And poverty for me is anybody that makes less than $30,000 a year. That's being very generous. That's almost 100% of the poverty line that is set by the US government. So if you live in your country with all the resources available in today's America, and you can't crack 30 grand and you're able-bodied, I'm not talking about disabled people, veterans, guys that have some disabilities, but a normal functioning man that has my hands like me and my feet like me and a brain, if you can't crack 30,000 a year, you are a fool. You're stupid. You should not sit online arguing with Africans. You should start looking for self-improvement courses, reading some psychology books, getting your mind right. Because there's a lot of capital moving around in this country. You can make something for yourself. Even if a company doesn't hire you, you can put together something. You know, if you are in the right company, in the right frame of mind, there's a small business administration. Maybe I should do a course on it. You can go to the SBA and get money. I've done that before. I've run businesses getting loans from the SBA, and I've paid all my loans off from the SBA. So you go to the Small Business Administration with a bank and get a business loan if you know the right things. And every time I've taken an SBA loan, the last one I took was $178,000. I paid it off in less than 1 year. It was a 30-year loan. I paid it off in less than 1 year. There is a lot of tools. If you have the right people around you, the right information, we're not online doing this bullshit back and forth, you got options in this country. So to go to my little town of Boko, where you can do fine with $200 a month, you live very well on $200 a month. You're missing something. That's all that I'm saying, man. You shouldn't look at those people. This is the best place to thrive economically in the world, hands down. Not even Europe. This country is the best place to thrive. I don't care what anybody says. I don't give a fuck about racism. I don't care about white supremacists. That is somebody's ideology. It's an individual ideology. It's not a systemic ideology. They're lies. They say these things to make you feel like you got no chance. They're lies, man. They are lies. White supremacy, every time they bring it up, I say, what is it? They don't pretend like you don't know. It's an ideology. It's a white man saying that I'm better than everybody else. What has that got to do with money? What has that got to do with opportunity? It's your belief system. You're crazy. You believe it, I don't believe it. That's your own problem. How is that going to hinder my progress? How is that going to stop me from doing FAFSA, to go to school? There's so much there to grab. There's so much money out there in America to grab. The guys in developing countries they haven't reached there yet. You have to look at these things and say, hey, if we are really comparing ourselves to you're not even saying middle-class Africans. Now, Caribbean Casanova is saying comparing to poor Africans. Really, like you got to go to developing countries and then pick their poor. In Africa, if you're poor, it's hard. It's a tough environment. So if you don't really come from money, it's very hard to break out of it. There's also the rural class. Most poor Africans are in the rural areas. And the reason that we consider them poor is because they don't have money in cash, but they have assets, right? They have assets, they have land, they farm the land, their subsistence, they grow their own food.